I have read a lot of productivity books, and many of them have left me with one of two feelings. Either, hey, that sounds nice, but I'm pretty sure this is not going to work in practice, or I've actually tried to make the things work and then felt bad about it when I couldn't make it happen. And I don't want to have you have to have that same fate. So today, I'm sharing my top 5 favorite productivity books of all time, the ones that actually are good, that make a difference, and what I like about them, so that you don't have to read all the duds before finding the gems. Welcome to the Do More, Stress Less podcast. I'm your host, Alexis Hasselberger, a time management and productivity coach. In every episode, I give you actionable, practical tips to help you learn to use your time in a way that feels good to you every day. No more hustling, scrambling, or struggling to keep your head above water. So let's dive in, and soon enough, you'll be doing more and stressing less. Okay, one thing about me is that I am a really voracious reader. Last year, I read over 100 books. And while reading books about productivity is not actually my preferred genre, I don't know about you, but I like most of my reading to be about stuff that is unrelated to my work. I have read the most of the popular and some very obscure productivity books out there because, one, I love research, and two, I got to stay abreast of what's going on in my industry. But there are a lot of boring, basic, judgy, impractical, or just not very well written productivity books out there, and I want to spare you from wasting your time reading them. And so without further ado, I want to share with you my top 5 favorite productivity books of all time. Okay, so coming in at number 1 is 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. Now, most ambitious human beings have a single belief that's holding them back, and that's the idea that somehow, some way, there is a way to Tetris your time so that you can do everything you want. You can't. Almost all of my clients come in with this belief at first. And if you believe this, it's actually quite difficult to prioritize and to feel good about your time. 4,000 Weeks is a meditation on the fact that you have very limited time on this earth, 4,000 weeks for most people, and that there's no way you can do it all. You can't read all the books. Hence this very list. You can't finish all the projects. And once you accept the reality that you can't do it all, you can get to the business of prioritizing the things that will help you to feel good about your time. Once you recognize that you can't do it all, it's possible to start actually prioritizing in such a way that you can feel confident every single day that the things you did were more important than the things you didn't do, instead of staying stuck in analysis paralysis. This book is an absolute gem, and I wish I would have written it myself. Honestly, when I first read it, I thought, oh my God, he beat me to it. I have never read a book more aligned with how I approach time. All right, moving on to number 2 is How to Have a Good Day by Carolyn Webb. In this book, Carolyn Webb dives really deep into the behavioral science of how to have a, quote, good day. And a good day is a productive day for most people. This book is packed with practical tools and the science to back them up. And this book is still far from dry, right? It's actually a page turner that leaves you with tangible tools that you can implement immediately to have better days. And I don't know about you, but I always want to have better days, right? Okay, number 3 is called Time Surfing by Paul Lumens. Now, everyone's brain is different, and this book is for folks who eschew the to-do list and want to take a more Zen-like approach to getting things done and to productivity. It's actually a very quick read, and it's maybe the most divergent take on productivity that I have read. Now, I do want you to beware of something here. If you don't have a good memory, and I definitely do not, especially as someone with ADHD who struggles with working memory, the strategies in this book might be more difficult for you to implement. Honestly, even though I loved this book, I can't really implement a lot of it just because my memory is so bad. But I really liked the way that he thinks about productivity. And that is why this book is on my favorites list. There's value to the idea that productivity doesn't have to be a relentless march to more, and that you can lean into yourself and trust yourself to get the important stuff done. All right. Number 4 is The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. Now, maybe this isn't exactly a productivity book. Maybe it's a personality book. But I still put this one in the camp of best productivity books because it helps us to answer the question. If you're not doing something you ostensibly want to do, why is that? And what strategies can you use to get yourself to do the thing that you want to do, right? Most people I work with struggle with procrastination, analysis paralysis, resistance to certain types of work, etc. And this makes them feel less than productive. And I'm guessing maybe you might feel the same way sometimes. Now, for me, my definition of productivity is doing what I intended to do. And if you can't get yourself to do what you intend to do, well, that can feel really problematic and very demoralizing. This book, The 4 Tendencies, it helps you understand how you handle internal versus external expectation and provides practical solutions for how to support yourself towards getting things done and making progress based on what your tendency is. And as an added bonus, I find this book super insightful and very practically applicable, not just to yourself, but to your relationships with other people. Now, personally, I am the questioner type in this book. And so I learned, is my husband. And the questioner needs to understand why a thing should be done and agree with that reason before doing it. This changed how I relate to my husband in a very positive way. The reality is that he is never going to do a thing just because I asked him to do it. He's going to want to know why it's important. And instead of getting annoyed by that, now I just start with the why, and it works. All right. And the last one, number 5 here, is Getting Things Done by David Allen. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the OG, David Allen's Getting Things Done. Now, in my opinion, this book has single-handedly shaped the productivity space, and it leads with the tenet that your mind is for having ideas, not for holding them. Many of my clients have come to me with the goal of having a, quote, mind like water, as David Allen talks about in this book. Another one of David Allen's primary contributions in this book is codifying the importance of a clear next action for all tasks and projects. Now, this may be something that you have heard me talk about ad nauseum if you have been around my parts and been around these parts any length of time, right? This seemingly simple idea is actually really profound. And many people skip this step and then wonder why their projects are lagging and why they're not moving things forward, why they're not making progress and making things happen. This book helps explain that, and this concept is really, really valuable. Have you got a productivity book that you love that I didn't mention? Find my email in the show notes and email me. Tell me what the book is that you loved, because I read a lot and I always want more. All right. See you next time. Okay, before you go, one more thing. If you've been listening to this podcast and thinking to yourself, I want to actually do this stuff. I just need help figuring out where to start. Then I've built something for you. It's called the Do More, Stress Less app. And it's personalized coaching every single day based on the same process that I use with all of my clients. It is trained in my voice and on everything I've ever put out into the world. How it works is that you take a quick quiz and it builds a plan around your brain, your goals, your schedule. And then every day you get support. You get a specific action step to take and you get coaching guidance. And it adapts to you as you go, which I think is the very coolest part of the whole thing. So there's no falling behind, right? It's not a set of modules you need to do. There's no rigid rules around it. It's just consistent progress that adds up over time. Now, if this sounds interesting to you, check it out. The link is in the show notes. And as always, if you found today's episode helpful, you can go ahead and share that with somebody else who might need to hear it too, right? If this has been helpful to you, I bet there's somebody in your world that would find value in it too. And that helps them and it helps this podcast grow to reach more people.